Tobago, under Commanding General YAHANNA, we will fly on the streets at 91.9 FM every Thursday from 7 p.m. Hosted by Officer SWAT and Officer Makoya. ISUPK under Commanding General YAHANNA, live every Thursday night from 7 p.m. on the streets 91.9 FM.
Yeah, shalom again.
Shalom, shalom.
All right. This is ISUPK Trinidad and Tobago again under Commanding General YAHANNA, Prison Officer Swap Yala. Right. So again, we're here, on a Thursday, right, to bring out, the importance of everything that is taking place around us, the reminders to brothers and sisters, just like we were reminded as well, in times like when I say feast days or you say or high holidays, come about, what we should keep that would be pleasing in the sight of the Lord, and the as you say, the customs of the heathen, what we should not keep that would be unpleasing, or the Lord will be displeased about it by us keeping it. So again, we're here tonight, right, bringing this reminder to our brothers and sisters, so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians, the children of Jacob, this family, this house. The importance of these reminders, is to understand where we are at right now, and where we would, should be looking, to position or bring ourselves back, to have favor, in the sight of the Lord, and that the Lord deliver us out of, the current condition that we face daily, right? So again, just a reminder for brothers and sisters, right? Our school location, number 1 Morris Street, Point 14. Check us out. We have classes, during the week, right? From 7 p.m. To 9 p.m. Come down to the school, right? Monday through Saturday, right? Again, we have classes, where we will be joining again some of the generals, captains, would come on, on a Wednesday and on a Tuesday, live stream, at the school, right? So again, come on down to the school, right? Again, just a reminder, the Lord 57th annual Passover, right? April 4th, right? Houston, Texas is the place to be, right? Again, brothers and sisters, 17 years and over, right? The Passover fee is $200, right? That would be 200, in the currency where the event is being kept, which is in Houston, Texas, right? So that is just a reminder for brothers and sisters, right? So anything?
Yeah, can cancel. Again, the number to call 342-0081-466-5391 or 771-1791.
Right. So what we looking?
Well,
we looking like
today's D-Day.
Yeah. All right.
You understand? Christmas. And as we have bringing out a couple of weeks before, you understand that the prophets of old showed us whereby we're not supposed to be celebrating Christmas.
Right.
The scriptures tell us not the way of the heathen.
Right.
You understand? And what is equally important, as we always say, is that as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we have those that say or claim that they teach the Bible. You understand? Which is the religious leaders, religion. But again, they're not teaching us the things that is in that book.
Right.
You understand? As the scriptures have said, the pastors, they have become brutish.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
When you look up the meaning of the word brutish, which we will touch on here as well,
right.
You understand? They're seeing that brutish is absence, obsessed with dominance.
Right.
And this is how the religious leaders are. They want to be dominant over the church.
Right.
Dominant over people. They don't want to actually show them how they can be free.
Right.
You understand? As the scripture says, just paraphrasing, you're going to be free indeed.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? When you look at going back to the meaning of brutish again, you're seeing the lacking restraint, proud of ignorance. And this is what the religious leaders are. They are ignorant towards knowing the Bible.
Right.
You understand? Because what we fail to realize is that we have been taught things from the oppressor. You understand? We have been taught this book from the oppressor, not our people.
Right.
You understand? But when you actually go into the Bible being taught by yours, you understand who the Bible belongs to, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, you're going to realize that it's actually something totally different from what these religious leaders push on
Right.
our people from generation to generation. You understand? So we are going to the book called the Bible, you understand?
Yeah.
And actually show different scriptures again concerning Christmas. We're going to touch on the little bit on the history as we were talking
Right.
about.
Right.
You understand? In the book of Judges,
Right.
you understand? Because of course the Lord said we should not have no other gods but him.
Right.
You understand? And our people being ignorant or not knowing that Christmas is after another God.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? Even leading up to the New Year's
Right.
also is after another God.
Right.
You understand? Many of our people don't understand that this person that they call Santa Claus, you understand, this big fat man coming on through the chimney and all these different things.
Mm-hmm.
These things was given to us to control us.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? These things is not for our people.
Mm.
Actually, real Saint Nick is a black man.
Right.
You understand? Doing charitable work. And as we were saying, I think it was last week or week before, whereby they use something called syncretism, you understand, to join
Right.
things from different religion or different events into biblical culture and feed it to our people. You understand? And we are being fed the wrong things.
Right.
You understand? So,
Right.
so like yes,
Yeah, yeah. And just we're bringing out the, we was just on the streets in Port of Spain,
Right.
a week from now, and interacting with the people, and asking again the same basic question, just like we were when we were partaking and patrinating and joining, as you say, these customs, right, and being prior, or the Lord bringing us to hear this out of the mouths of righteous black men,
right,
whereby we could have asked these questions, and they could have proved it in our records, because again the scriptures say prove all things. So when we tell brothers, hey, don't take our word for it, let we go inside that day and especially hear it out of the mouth of your own people, and the conversation that we speak or forefathers were taught,
right,
is the same for instructions that was passed down. And this is the importance of it,
right,
of us really actually learning this, and coming back to our heritage, coming back to our culture, and as we see, to break down, just as it was told to us, or told to our forefathers, which was passed down to, as you say, teachers say, sons,
correct,
to as you say, to break down their images, to break down their growth, to destroy, all these false teachings, all these false doctrines. And this being one of it, especially a day like today,
right,
because now again, when we, just a sidebar, when we look at what's happening in the news, you see families, in mourning,
correct,
in mourning.
absolutely correct,
You imagine, as you say, young, as you say, teenagers, being, unalive.
right,
When today was supposed to be at the hour, where as you say, the heathen them define or make it known that today is supposed to be the birth of Christ.
right,
We're supposed to be celebrating that. But again, knowing the truth and coming out, from the mindset of religion, coming out from the mindset of culture of these other people is like, an eye opener. And it should be to our people,
right,
It should be to this family. And again, the history, that you're going to go in or going to bring out is some that we were prior to in coming into the truth, and being able and with the opportunity to sit down under righteous black men, and they explaining to us that they were in that, as we say, once in that. So we see that same way of being grown up or being brought up in a society and following after the customs of the heathen, we could make that change.
Right.
Christ or King, Yahweh in Hebrew, he said that. He said, be ye perfect even as I am perfect. He strived towards that perfection and making that change. So we can make that change. If we say we following who? We say following Christ.
right,
Say following, the Most High God. Say following His Son. now we can make that strive towards that perfection by walking and keeping these instructions, right?
So like I say, if I mean,
Yeah.
and just to piggyback on what you're saying, when you're on the streets and reacting, you know what I mean? If people should find they should celebrate Christmas, if Christmas is something to be celebrated, most people, you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Because in ignorance, they don't understand it's something not supposed to be celebrated. You understand? Some might say, you know, nah, it's not to be celebrated because it is a pagan holiday.
Right.
You understand? But what we have to realize is the people that supposed to be teaching us the Bible, teaching us this book, they supposed to be the ones to make sure that Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, they understand that all these man-made traditions, they are pagan.
Right.
You understand? But again, integration into these other races is what made us now, you understand, fall victim to their culture and their ways.
Right.
You understand? Because of course the Lord gave us our ways. You understand? Give us our culture, our tradition. Like we just come out of the feast of Hanukkah.
Right.
You understand? Most of our people, they don't understand what is Hanukkah.
Right.
We're going into the feast of Purim.
Right.
After the feast of Purim, we have the Lord's Passover. All these things is in the Bible that we as a people supposed to be celebrated. These things is like family days.
Right.
One thing, as you always say when you come, is that we are family. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. These days is where family supposed to gather together. Not all races and all nations.
Right.
You understand? These things the Lord give us to the 12 tribes is just for family. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. So like
you know what you say, we are priests and officers shiny building. You know, anything to say on what we're talking about?
Yeah, and when you check out you know, as we are saying that, you know, we are younger and things like that, when we come now, we come in here, speaking now, right, and you know, the teachers now, right, and we doing the same. So now when you watch back these things and them, right, it's like the oppressor itself telling me what day to buy a gift for your children and thing, right? They're telling me what day to clean me house and thing, right? They're telling me what day when to have good sex with your wife, and all these things happening for the whole Christmas when you again you have dominion over your family and your household. The most I get that, but you ain't having dominion, that the oppressor having dominion and telling you, hey, you clean your house December here. You go and get for your children December here. You go and have good sex with your wife for December here. And after that back again, you just had to wait a whole cycle back again every year to do back the same thing over. And really business.
Right.
The whole oppressor will think about business. Christmas is about business.
Right.
Yeah. And you know, yes, just like what Sasha mentioned in there now you want to understand why homes are being broken, especially like days like this when you do get a gift.
Right.
Because of that intercourse that you have, or as we say, that sexual intercourse that you move away from your husband, because now as women, you know, was that is not being brought up, they wouldn't understand that what is marriage, and I think we bring that out. You know, that sex is marriage. Sex is marriage. So now around this time is like, you know, you're just keeping to like a pretense or false pretense, not knowing you going out now, and as you say, homes is being broken, especially around this time. So again, you know, it's important for us, you know, to understand and again, the history that they're going to bring out, brothers and sisters, as you say, should take note. As you say, your pen and your book,
right,
and you know, take notes, right?
Right, we're going to talk about 3 things in particular. We're going to touch on Krampus, you understand, which is a pagan god. We're going to touch on Janus, you understand, being the god of New Year's, you understand, which we're going to go into as well. But you could always do your deeper research, and you're going to see that what we are speaking about here, it is actually true.
Right.
You understand? And we're going to touch a little bit about Saint Nick. You understand? And how to cross Saint Nick, that black man, being that charitable person, looking out for children and poor families, how to tie it in to this fat guy, you understand, wearing a red suit coming on a chimney.
Right.
You understand? To confuse our people and keep us, just as the brothers bringing out, you understand, keep us being a servant to them. You understand? Because that whole thing about Santa Claus is just about business, right? So we're going to go into a little bit about the history of Krampus, and then we'll go on Janus, right? So Krampus comes from Germanic and Alpine pagan traditions, Austria, Bavaria, Slovenia. His name likely comes from Krampen, claw. He was half goat, half demon horned, hairy, and chains and bells, not festive. You understand? Before Christianity absorbed local religions, winter festivals honored nature spirits, death, and judgment. Krampus was tied to these rites, especially the wild hunt, a ghostly procession of spirits that swept through winter skies. Right? What was his role? Krampus was the punisher. Good children were rewarded. You understand? Bad children were beaten, chained, dragged away, or eaten. And days will be coming. We're talking about Santa being looking for the child at good or bad.
Right.
You understand? You could see in whereby these coming from old pagan customs, old pagan traditions.
You're breaking down the like children who I'll say behave naughty.
Right.
They didn't get nothing this morning.
You understand? You want to go into it a little more? You understand? When Christianity moved to Europe, it couldn't erase pagan beliefs, so it rebranded them. You understand? Just like how we have the scene with the mother and child, Mary and baby Jesus. You understand? They always get that scenery when coming to Christmas time. They're not giving you the scenes of when Christ healed the sick. You understand? When he raised the dead. And all these different things. You understand? Not knowing that imagery of that baby Jesus and the Virgin Mary, as they say. You understand? It ties back to Nimrod and his mother.
Right.
You understand? Mother and child.
Right.
You understand? When you do the history of Nimrod, you realize that he married his own mother. His mother died, and she come up with her own philosophy to make people follow her and follow Nimrod.
Right.
You understand? Which goes back to the Christmas tree and all these things as we were speaking about last week or week before.
Yeah, and so like like what you bring out there, and this is why we have laws to govern us. So imagine you as a mother giving birth to a child, who let that same child that come back onto you, just like Sasha was bringing out. It goes to show. You will tell brothers and sisters this or this house this, and they say, "But wait now, that's not right." From the time you say that, you actually know that I know who you is. You're not from that family. You're not from that nation. It shows you that this is a total different people, a total different, spirit or vibe from yours, because within yourself that's not right. It's not right. So if you know that's not right now, you should do what? Just like what we did. We seek out the truths, to know more. This is why we're bringing out the truths. So brothers and sisters could seek it out, and just as I say, do some more research.
Understand? So we're going to go in a little bit again. So the same when Christianity moved to Europe, it couldn't erase pagan beliefs, so it rebranded them. St. Nicholas was the one to reward, Krampus was the one to punish. You understand? They were paired together on December 5th, the night of judgment before St. Nicholas Day. St. Nicholas Day was December 6th. You understand? And you're going to see what was moved from that time to December 25th. You understand? The church tried banning Krampus multiple times. They say it was too demonic. But the people would not let him go. Who wouldn't let him go? The people. You understand? Eventually, he was domesticated, turned into folklore, then later commercialized. What's the bigger picture? The bigger picture is that Christmas was never originally Christian. You understand? What makes that happen? Krampus. Krampus makes you to know that Christmas was never Christian. Pagan winter rituals were absorbed, sanitized, and sold. You understand? So it was absorbed into Christianity, all these pagan customs, refurbished, and then given back to the people. That is what we're coming back again. Look up the word called syncretism.
And so like you draw reference to a key point and a word, because a lot of us, grew up hearing a lot of folk laws. We know that these are just stories. So imagine again you're reading the history, and they're actually telling, hey, this was just folklore. So what I'm telling you about Christmas is just a story that somebody sit down, as you say, and not just somebody, the people them that think about business, just like any businessman would do, to come up with some strategy to push his equipment or his shop to promote it. He would come up with ways and sit down and converse with let me say a group or more than one to see how we can do business on this day.
Right.
What we could come up with, to have, our goods, pushed out. And this was one of the days
Right.
that they use to promote and push their goods to the wider community, and to get the support of one people would really have a total impact on everybody. Because this one people who they know serving the Lord, as long as they get them on board, everyone else would be on board. Because now what this one people would do, what we're doing right now today. We would come and talk against it.
Right.
Just like we were taught, this is not a time to worship this day. These other gods.
Correct.
So what would happen now? They would always, we say, come up against, the men that speak against this. And again, now is a glorious time, especially to be in the truth, and to bring the enlightenment to brothers and sisters and let them know, hey, we were once there.
Right.
And we, as we say, we still here. Because now we living amongst brothers and sisters. We didn't move away. Just like with religion might think, hey, now I see. From what?
Right.
You're still living amongst brothers and sisters daily.
Right.
You're still interacting with brothers and sisters. Just like, again, just like where Paul was saying, he be a servant, I believe, unto the Gentiles, because he's a Gentile.
Right.
He living amongst brothers and sisters. He understand that, hey, to make that change or that transition is to be the example.
Right.
In, telling people, or just like he was taught this truth, he would do it.
Right.
And he not, I would say, separating himself from, like, hey, what Christianity would do, what religion would do. Separate the self from what? The brothers and sisters who facing daily trials.
Right.
Get down, you had to get down there with them.
Right.
You must understand, because now that their cry is not just a cry, it's a cry of oppression. Scripture say oppression make it a what? A wise man mad. Do you see in this what will happen?
Right.
It will stop your spirit. Will stop your spirit. Because you see the condition of people daily. You know what you're gonna do? You ain't gonna shun them. You go to make that system. That will be a food, your clothing dried. Brothers and sisters, because now the men that do this, that's as Christ say, when you was hungry, what you do? He talking about, hey, your people, your family, you feed them, you clothe them. Because now you're seeing the cry, you're seeing this time should be a time where we now should really know that, again, just as we say, the peace of dedication. Now we seeking, hey, where brothers is, where sisters is, give them that aid, give them that help, that assistance that they need. This is what we do.
Right.
We don't take, as we say, your donations or your clothes or your food and just, let me say, use it as a tool to build yourself.
Right.
We use it as a tool to, as we say, to build this family,
Right.
to make this family know that we care about them.
Right.
Because it had men who was there and it had men that care about them. Died, as we say, that was passed down. This is the men that hold this truth, that have a care for this family. And again, Christ or King Yahawashi, as I say, brought it best.
Right.
The understanding where we, as we say, we know times like this, this is not the birth of Christ.
Right.
And it's clear. It's clear.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then, of course, anybody can challenge it. You understand?
Yeah.
Show where the birth of Christ is in the Bible.
Yeah.
You understand? Show us where that birth is on December 25th.
Yeah.
You understand? Show us where the disciples celebrated Christ.
Yeah.
On December 25th.
Yeah. That is as simple as it is. Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
These is the things that we are getting restored to understand there is something wrong.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So we're going a bit again, a little piece again on on Krampus. You understand? The church needed control. Fear works better than scripture on illiterate populations. So Krampus was chained to Saint Nicholas. One gives gifts, the other beats children, kidnaps them, drags them to hell.
See over that part there.
Can. So Krampus was chained to Saint Nicholas. Remember, Saint Nicholas and Santa
Right.
is two different people.
Right.
But they make Saint Nicholas and Santa as one.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? But we're going to that. You understand? So Krampus was chained to Saint Nicholas, one who gives gifts, the other beats children, kidnaps them, drags them to hell.
Right, and you see that part there. This is where we have to understand, or as we say, as a child will always be a child.
Right.
A child will always be a child, and treating a child like if is let me say a grown adult,
right.
Somebody who, as you say, who went through certain things in life and they don't have a fair understanding about it.
Right.
It's like you didn't give that child that opportunity to grow.
Correct.
Because now it is like you supposed to be the nurturer, to nurture that child. Just like say a plant, you plant your seedling and every day you give it water. You're nurturing it and as it grows.
Correct. And even as they say here when they're talking about the child being dragged to hell, you understand? Now if you go around and they have some adults, you ask them where is hell until there's a place on that ground.
Yeah.
Fire, you understand? We don't understand that hell is just a condition.
Mm-hmm.
Heaven is a condition. You understand what I'm saying? And young kids, if you understanding that hell is a condition, these things wouldn't get to you. Know when you were telling a child is lies.
Right. Right.
You understand? Again, these are things that the religious leaders supposed to be bringing out and teaching our people so we wouldn't be living in that faith.
That's right.
So when they come with these things at Krampus and who giving gifts and who behave good and who behave naughty, these things will be none and void. These things will be vain.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? As the scriptures say when the book of Jeremiah, for the customs of the people are vain.
Right.
You understand? It works nothing. It makes no sense.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? These things is supposed to be known. Right? But we'll continue a bit again and nice being right. This wasn't accidental. It was psychological conditioning. The church tolerated it because it kept people obedient.
Sure.
You understand? And look at what has happened. When coming from Christmas Eve into Christmas Day, everybody knowing they have to flock where? To the Christian church. They have to flock to that religion.
Right.
What happened Old Years into New Year's? Same drill.
Yeah.
You're keeping the people what? Obedient.
Obedient.
You understand? And we thinking that when December 25th reach, it's after Christ, it's after the birth of Christ. But no way in the Bible, you understand, these religious leaders could prove that.
Right.
That is after the birth of Christ.
Right. So
again, you no matter call 342-0081, 466-5391-771-1791.
And just like you brought out, again, call, prove, show we where, this is the time in the Bible, because now we're talking about the Bible, and, everybody does read the Bible, right? Open the book, as we say, and prove it.
Right.
Not I say prove it and show we out of the Bible where, December 25th is the birth of Christ, Christmas supposed to be celebrated. We're supposed to be celebrating New Year's.
You understand?
No problem. As you say, you can open it and prove it.
Right.
Prove it. So, right.
You understand?
So and this should be a reminder to us, right?
Right.
Anything to bring out of Sasha?
When you
going to Janus?
They're going to Janus.
Yeah, we're going to touch on Janus. You understand?
Yeah.
Because there is another God concerning
and we just how many days are we from that now? So it's just like from back to back.
I'm not going to say so like every family, they're just keeping you in the go.
Yeah. You obedient.
Yeah. You understand? As one pagan session does, the next one. And it becomes so prevalent and it becomes so accustomed to it. It's like, we're supposed to be doing this. You understand what I'm saying? But Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, this Bible was given by your forefathers to you. You understand? And in that book, inside there it have the things that we as a people need to do.
Right.
It have high holy days and feast days that we need to follow, that we need to keep.
Right.
You understand? Just like how long time you go by Big Mama's house, as we go stay at grandmother's house, and all the cousins and family come together to have a time. You understand? To eat and drink and enjoy themselves. At that house, nothing going wrong. Cousin fighting cousin, brother fighting brother, family fighting family. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah? But when it comes to the most high holy days, like for example, the Passover, which coming up, you understand, which is something glorious in the eyes of the Lord. You're going to see how that family operates and how that family functions. See how the family operates at the Purim. We just had the Feast of Hanukkah. See how family operates.
And I know one day celebration.
That is it.
I know one day celebration. The Lord is our Father, and He know when, as you say, when we come together, just like how everybody know will come together on the. So after today, what next? When we having, as you say, our high holy days, our feast days is 8 days, it's 14 days, and I mean I was using that figure. It is not just one day. Not just one day. The only to my recall, the only one day is the day atonement. That when we atone. Within, as you say, with I think is it every year we're supposed to do that. Because now it's like we are flicking myself. It's like a reminder. It's like a check. Should I say examine yourself daily to see if you know it have a point in time where we know I must afflict ourselves and die not for everybody. It is made known that you must be able-bodied, correct? Not and we tell brothers, they say this is not for no the sick, you know, pregnant women and children, right? Because now, as I say, have men in that defense, who could stand in that defense, and these men wouldn't run away and litigate open just like the religious leaders did, and we were exposed to days like these. The enemy crawling. And as you say, they bring it to the point of obedience. Imagine you being obedient, you know, to as we say, to a God that the Lord say, as we say, you know, like they say, the 10 commandments. In that, as we say, in the first 10, which the whole book is commandments. The one of them is say, don't worship no other God beside me. Anything that you create and deem or to make a God, like today you create and you make a God. Worshiping after another God. You're worshiping after another God.
When you bring it to our attention, it's nice, it's the run and say nice for the children.
Yeah.
You understand? But then what we teaching the children, the same evil thing.
But and like just say for the children, so now it show you now who's supposed to be getting licks? Which one of them supposed to be getting licks? The next one? Because now it's like you now not taking that responsibility. Because now you is the defense. You is the defense to who? To the children, to the women, to the ones that, as we say, to that structure and that order. But when you step aside now, what are you doing now? This is why, again, these customs and these, as we say, these religious, as you say, holidays that they would deem to be, you know, to bring everybody together, is really at their commerce, or really at their business. As you say, watch what happened, as you say, at the eve of the business. The work it, as you say, on your 9 to 5 till you're tireless. Till you're tireless. Just to make sure that when they go, the just back, the heathen, they say, yeah, we profit out of them. I watching some stats with banks, all kind of 98 point something million profit.
And profit is after you pay all the bills.
So what I'm showing you, and again the majority, as you say, who actually holding up this load is blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians. We holding up the load.
That's how the scripture says. The Lord tells us that that will be sold for bondmen and bondwomen, slave men and slave women. We are the ones serving these other nations. You understand? We upholding their economy. Once we return back to the Lord say, gather yourself together, own nation not desired. We have to come to this realization, so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man, that we were once a nation. We were once a tribe and nation.
Right.
But because of disobedience to the Lord and clinging on to the religions of all these other races, all these other nations, we drift away from what the Lord gave us. You understand? Now we have an opportunity that we hear in the sunny airwaves right now in 2025, Christmas Day, that we have to return to what is in that book. We have to return back to the laws of the Most High.
Right.
Religious leaders preaching from time to time that the laws of God are done away with.
Right.
You understand? And Christ himself said in the book of Matthew, think not that I have come to destroy the law. He didn't come to destroy no law. Or the prophets. He didn't come to destroy the works or the workings of the prophets.
Right.
You understand? He didn't come to destroy, but to fulfill, to show blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians we could keep the law.
Right.
This is how you and I could fulfill this law. This is how we could keep it. This law is the real deal for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, their constitution, their economic development, their nation development.
That is perfection.
You understand? That is perfection, as I rightfully say. So we have a duty. Time for we to come out of the Christian church and these religions and return to the Most High, just as we always did when we was under captivity under all these other nations.
Right.
There was a time when we returned back to the Lord. You understand? And the Lord gave us that favor, he gave us that deliverance. Right now it's going to happen again, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, right? So let me touch a little bit on Janus, and then we're going to go into the history now, just as I was saying, right? So we're touching a little bit on Janus quick. Janus, the pagan gatekeeper, hidden inside New Year. Janus is not symbolic, he is not poetic. He is pure Roman paganism, and his fingerprints are all over modern New Year celebrations. Janus was a Roman god, not a mythological side character. He was a state deity tied directly to imperial power, wartime, and control. His defining feature, two faces, was not wisdom. It was duplication, deception, and surveillance. One face looking forward and one looking back. You understand? And of course, when you go into it a little more, you're going to see whereby the face looking back is looking back at the old.
Right.
The face looking forward is going into the new. The old year into the new year. You understand? Old things into new things. Old custom into new custom.
Right.
You understand? Janus ruled beginnings, endings, gates, doors, transitions, time itself. That meaning nothing started without invoking Janus in ancient Rome. Not war, not trade, not politics. You understand? So it means they had Janus in everything. You understand? January is literally named after him. Januarius, named in honor of Janus. Every year, when the calendar turns, Rome, god of transition, is invoked by name, whether people know it or not. This was international. Rome believed time itself needed to be spiritually opened by Janus, so the year would not collapse into chaos. This is occult thinking ritualized as time control. You understand? So now we're seeing whereby Janus being this god of old transition, of old things into new things, into new beginnings. You understand? This is a pagan god from Rome. We understand that Rome, you understand, when they do the history, they serve a lot of different gods. The Romans had gods for every day of the week, every month of the year. You understand? And again, doing that syncretism, they started to merge these things into Christian beliefs, meaning biblical beliefs, biblical ways. You understand? And it keep passing on from that time, from generation to generation till today. Now we're going into the New Year, celebrating that New Year's Day, which is just the worship of another god. Right. You understand? A god called Janus. So okay.
Right. So again, that's I say a little brief history on that. And again, Lord allow next week, Lord allow we're going a little more into it as well too. Right. So you just want to touch, some that that even back then, way before, in the time of Judges, where we see that same spirit or that same vibe of us, running after the customs and the way of the heathen. Right. So you're going to Judges chapter 2 and we'll start at 2 and 1. Right.
Judges chapter 2 and verse 1. And an angel of the Lord came up from Gilgal to Bochim and said, I made you to go up out of Egypt and have brought you unto the land which I sware unto your fathers. And I said, I will never break my covenant with you.
Right, and we will read on some more, because now this is the time where, you know, the Most High God, you know, had delivered us out of the hand of our enemies,
Right.
out of bondage. And Egypt is just synonymous to the word bondage,
Right.
because now we were in, as you say, in a land where we were serving other gods of again, and it should be a reminder to us as well. Right, go ahead.
Judges chapter 2 and verse 2. And you shall make no league with the inhabitants of this land.
Because when you go and you read back in Judges 1, and you know, in coming down to the end of the chapter, you would see a lot of our brothers, Asher and Naphtali, you know, the heathen them was amongst us,
Right.
right? And they be just like today, they're amongst us. But you hear what it say, don't make no what? No league. We were not to make no kind of, as you say, no kind of treaty, or no kind of, as you say, we coming together.
Right.
We were not supposed to do that, because it's like a warning to us. Go ahead.
You shall throw down their altars.
You shall do what?
You shall throw down their altars.
Why are we going to throw down the altars? Go ahead.
But you have not obeyed my voice. Why have you done this?
Right, and in not doing that, it's like the Lord, like our Father. Why didn't do that?
Right.
I tell you, don't make no league with them.
No alliance.
They come now and they're amongst you now. I tell you, hey, throw down the altars, but we didn't listen.
Right.
Yeah, what the Lord tell me. Go ahead.
Verse 3. Wherefore I also said, I will not drive them out from before you, but they shall be as thorns in your sides, and their God shall be a snare unto you.
What we seeing happening to us right now is like what we seeing happening with Asha right now. It like on every side, as you see, ships coming in daily.
You press like thorns to them.
Like thorns to them, and you know what happening now, and their gods shall be a snare unto us. What is set up in South America?
Right.
In as you say, that the whole of South America. This depiction of the image that when you go in our records is totally, as you say, in nowhere. Just like we telling, as you say, the organization.
Right.
Prove Christmas in the Bible. Prove that this image that the portraying on this day is inside there. No way. And here we say it could be a snare unto us. Go ahead.
Judges chapter 2 verse 4. And it came.
Yeah, that's right. Let read this one.
And it came to pass, when the angel of the Lord spake these words unto all the children of Israel, that the people lift up their voice and wept.
Why at that time we lift up your voice and wept? Because now it's like a reminder, and it is like now we see the truth. Jump to verse 6.
Judges chapter 2 and verse 6. And when Joshua had left the people, when Joshua had let the people go, the children of Israel went every man unto his inheritance to possess the land.
You know why I jumped there? It show you again. We could be angels as well. This was Joshua at that time with the instructions of the Lord speaking to everybody.
Right.
Commanding General YAHANNA has been doing this since 1969. And I mean 1969, being raised up in the truth. Listening the men before him, bring this out and be able to impart this to younger men coming up underneath, as you say, his watch. Being a gatekeeper towards brothers, being a gatekeeper towards sisters, and raising them up right to making them know, hey, these customs or these ways, it will be a snare to us, it will be a thorn to us. We should come out and bring that reminder and let brothers and sisters know, hey, this is now we custom. Right? Go ahead, verse 7.
Judges chapter 2 and verse 7. And the people served the Lord all the days of Joshua and all the days of the elders that outlived Joshua, who had seen all the great works of the Lord
And go ahead, Slakia.
that he did for Israel.
And at that time, we always had a generation that would see the works of the Lord. This was one of the generation that saw all the glorious thing that the Lord did for us. And that's why we wept. When we hear, imagine a brother coming and telling you, hey, these things, if we don't obey the instructions, this will happen to us. This will befall us. Just like the scripture say. And this was a reminder to us. Jump to verse 10, Bible question.
Judges chapter 2 and verse 10. And also all that generation were gathered unto their fathers, and there arose.
Right. So Joshua, just the verse before that, after that, say that Joshua come and pass.
Right.
Just like as we say, we live out our time. Because as we say, our the children that coming up, they were trained up in that way.
Right.
The generation around that time, they were trained up in that way. But listen on now. Go ahead.
Judges chapter 2 and verse 10. And also all that generation were gathered unto their fathers.
Right. So all these, I say, all these men that witnessed the works of the Lord, the past, the die. Right. Go ahead.
And there arose another generation after them.
Go ahead.
Which knew not the Lord.
And this should be a reminder to us. And again, we are, let's say, Barakataya Hawaii, for commanding general, for being in a generation or a time where, the truth was the Lord give us that opportunity to really receive back this truth. To receive back this truth. And hear the thing about it now. That's why it say, hey, let the wheat and the tear grow together. We read just before that. It said, this is why the Lord lead them. There'll be a what? A thorn and a snare. Christmas is like a snare.
Of course.
A trap.
That our people in it tell them that it has nothing to do with Christ. They'll go down dying, yes, they have to do with Christ. They just preaching that to the top of the voice.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? But when you go in the records, it have nothing to do with Christ. You understand? So there is a snare, as I rightfully say, there's a trap, right?
Yeah. And this again, this is why the warning was, and I tell all you to do that.
Right.
This is why again, just as again, say no longer with these men hid in a corner anymore. I say the prophets will hid in a corner anymore. Because why? They'll come out and look at it. Because why? The Lord always had men who have not bowed or taken a knee to any idol or any worship any other God. This is where you're witnessing right now. Men that as we walk that walk before, we were reminded and we make that change. That change now is you love your people, you care for your people. As you say, as Christ tell Peter, he say, feed my people.
Right.
Feed the flock. Commanding general feeding the flock. As you say, that's schools throughout, as you say, North, South, and Central America.
That's like I say, family, that nation that is not desired is actually building.
Right.
You understand? That's the rightfully bringing all data school show the four corners of the earth. The nation of Israel that was once scattered. You understand? It is building back again. The Lord saying in Zephaniah chapter 2 and verse 1, gather yourself together, O nation not desired.
Right.
That is happening in the midst of all this chaos right now.
Right.
The Lord is gathering back his people. So like yes.
Right. You can read on a little more about it.
Joshua chapter 2 and verse 10. Which knew not the Lord, nor yet the works which he had done for Israel.
And they didn't know that. Go ahead.
Verse 11. And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord, and served Baal.
Right. And everything that we do after that is not of the Lord, it would be what? Be evil.
Right.
Today, if we, as we say, fool or let our children know that today is the birth of Christ, he did some evil.
Right.
Die the truth.
Okay.
Die the truth. You let them know that today it evil. And the scripture say, woe be unto who? The pastors
Right.
that lead this flock or my people astray. Slack.
Okay.
Yeah, anything that
Yeah, you're saying no, you're correct, you're correct. You understand? Because again, as we always say, religious leaders is supposed to be the gatekeepers.
That's right.
You understand? But again, there should be under commanding General YAHANNA, we are here. You understand? We are here for all blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. We are here to give you the truth according to the Bible. You understand? Going into the Old, we're going into the New Testament. You understand? And show you whereby prophets of all the things that they did, the things that they fought for, even in the book of Acts. You understand? Paul and the prophets of old, they fought against, you understand, the powers that be against Astaroth and all these different gods.
Right.
To get our people away from that snare and from that trap.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? And again, Christmas being a snare, New Year's coming into being a next snare again or that trap. You understand? And if we realize year after year and generation after generation is the same thing.
Right.
So that actually showing you that it is a trap to our people, it is a snare. Because our people now, we don't understand, we don't know. We have our separate days to follow.
That's right.
We have our separate feast days, our separate high holy days. Have we actually tried the Bible? We ain't just outsiders talking, you know what I mean, for the Lord of God and His mercy and joy forever.
Yeah.
No, actually trying, actually doing. As the scripture say in the book of Deuteronomy, to do and observe all these commandments that the Lord has given us. You understand? We actually searching it out. The Lord tell us, seek ye out of the book of the Lord, and read, seek.
That's right.
We have to look to see what our forefathers left there for us as a people to follow. So that's it. Continue now?
Yeah.
You know again.
Verse 13.
I think it's 12.
Verse 12. And they forsook the Lord God of their fathers, which brought them out of the land of Egypt.
Right. And every time that we go against His instruction, we go against the Lord. This should be a reminder for us. Because now we didn't recognize that we had a greater power who had a care for this family, for this house, not just having a care, but to look over his affairs.
Right.
To look over everything that is going on. You think if as we say, if blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians, as we say, are the chosen people of the Lord, was running this, you think this place would have been in chaos?
Yeah.
It would not be in that, right? I think I know we are up on the time now.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Till like right again, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, the time you check on we, right?
You will bring out that say next week.
Next week, we will come back again, you
yeah,
understand?
Yeah.
We will bring out some more history, bring out some more of the Bible to show whereby these holidays are pagan and we as a people not supposed to be celebrating that, you understand? Because just as we just read, these things are just traps and snares to our people.
That's right.
You understand? Things to keep us in bondage, things to keep us under oppression to these other nations. You understand? The question we had asked ourselves is when we're going to actually build back the Lord's nation, the Lord's people, when we're going to come out, you understand, from actually celebrating these things that just feel good for a moment. You understand? But the Lord tells us the customs of the people are vain. When are we going to come out from these customs, these ways that makes no sense? You understand? And start building back black people, black culture, you understand? And that black nation that we once was. So like yes,
any closing remarks of Sasha?
Let's just say something too, right? You know, these are nations that just think we had to stop think for the day and really think for longer times, right? Because if we didn't think so, it's the same thing what they're doing. They're wiping away history. They wipe away Christ being black, now he white. They wipe away New Year's being in April, March. And then I say we have to really rule to make sure these things and them stay in place. And we're not ruling. This is what's happening right here, right now.
Right. So again, just a reminder, school location, number 1 Morris Street, Point Important. You check us out. Our classes, during the week, Monday through Saturday. Come on down, check us out. Again, go up on our webpage for any event, we have our upcoming food and clothing drive. Right, so stay tuned for that. Right, so again, we just want to say to the host, right, for hosting us today, right.
to the listening audience, as
Right.
always.
As always, right?
Yeah, to what shalom.
Right, and with that we say, yeah, shalom.
Shalom, shalom.
On Commanding General Yahanna, we will be live on the streets at 91.9 FM every Thursday from 7 p.m. Hosted by